So it has been one of the craziest weeks I have ever endured in my life between daylight savings time, no idea what time it is, this election, which we're not going to talk about, but just all of it. Like it completely. It went out. I didn't want to. I didn't text you on Tuesday because I figured you probably were busy voting or something. I just didn't bother. Wednesday was everyone was glued to their phones. So, but Thursday, and I had it in doubt because it didn't look like Green Bay was going to play because of all these COVID outbreaks on both teams. So I was like, well, maybe they won't play. But now Thursday, every report says, even though the game is 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away, every report says they're going. So we had to get something out there.
Yep. Yep.
But what's new with you, James?
Nothing is new with me. Just working and slaving my life away as usual. So it's a great time. It's a great time.
That it is. Let's go ahead and get to our picks. Hang on, my dog. She comes into my room and then starts crying. Anyway, all right, so let's start in college. Last week, I didn't have a bad week, but you had a great week. You went 10-2. I was 8-4. I can't get over that hump. I've been hovering between 7-5 and 9-3 the entire year. Just I can't get over the hump. It's like the last month or last 4 weeks has been 8-4 for me. But let's go ahead and get started. Today's games when this podcast will come out. There's two good ones that I like. One is Miami at NC State. Miami, ranked number 11, goes to NC State. Miami is a 10.5-point favorite.
I'll take Miami there. They'll feel good about it. The ACC. Miami's still a little overrated to me right now. I mean, how much talent do they really have right now? Do you think that they have a lot? I mean, I haven't kept up.
I'll say this. I think Manny Diaz has them heading in the right direction. Are they going to be the U of the 80s and 90s? No.
They remind me of Texas. Just like they think they're back, but they're just not. That's how I think
they're better. I think they might be better than Texas. I don't know. But I like Manny Diaz more than Tom Herman, but that's me.
Yeah.
I don't know about NC State. That's tricky. Raleigh's always a little tricky, especially under the lights. But I like Manny Diaz. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good defensive-minded coach, too. And I think he'll prevent NC State from, being really good offensively in the game. And I think they have more time to prepare. The other one I really like, underrated game, BYU against Boise State. BYU right now, a 3-point favorite. BYU's good. That quarterback is legit. Have you watched him?
Yeah.
He looks really good. Zach Wilson. I think he's a first-round pick.
Yeah, agreed.
Who are you going to go with?
BYU who? Sorry.
Boise State. 2 ranked teams.
I'll go BYU.
I'll go BYU too. I think those Mormons are legit this year.
Yeah, I agree. I got the season.
All right, Saturday. Here's our game. Not game of the week, but here's our game. West Virginia at Texas, number 22 Texas. Texas right now a 6.5-point favorite. I think it started at 6 and it's hovered between 6 and 6.5. So Vegas clearly thinks we might hang around, and I think we will.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll go a step further. We're going to beat the Longhorns this weekend.
Ooh, you took the upset last week.
Yep.
Against Kansas State. I'll tell you what, dude. I'll say this about you, James. You know when to pull the trigger.
So to be honest with you, I don't feel as good as this one as I did about last week. I still think Kansas State was ranked a little bit higher, but I do think Texas had a little bit more talent. Obviously, it being away is something, but I think that our defense is just absolutely legit. So if our QB can put up,
if we can keep Ellinger in check, I think we can win.
Any way they can do it, if they can get it to 30, I think they win the game. Because I don't think Texas is going to be putting up 35, 40 points on us, to be honest with you.
Probably
so
not.
We can get maybe a defensive touchdown, maybe a special teams touchdown, or at least a big turnover to put us in good position to score. I think they can do it, dude. I do.
So I wrote about it.
They're telling you right now. Vegas is telling you they think it's going to be a one-score game. So if they can get one of those weird touchdowns, that puts us over the top.
That's very true. This is an interesting game because I wrote on my blog earlier this week. Oklahoma State lost to Texas last week, but aside from the 4 turnovers that they had offensively, Oklahoma State looked good. Texas didn't move the ball all that well, except for a couple drives, I think, late in the game. They only had about 200 yards of total offense. Take away the turnovers, I think they had 21 points off turnovers. That's a blowout. So and then you let Texas in the game. The refs are the Longhorn bias is real in football with the Big 12 refs. So I'm gonna go Texas here, just cause I think we're gonna get the shaft when it comes to officiating.
Okay.
It's all set up, I think, for Texas to win. Like they're coming off a big win. They're back in the Big 12 title hunt. Game, underrated opponent in Austin. They'll probably overlook us for whoever they're playing next week or week after that. I don't know. I think it's all setting up for us to get in the shaft, and Texas will eke out a win.
Yep.
All right. Michigan at Indiana, 2 ranked teams. Indiana's ranked number 13. Michigan is a 3.5-point favorite.
Michigan will win that handily.
Yeah, so I flirted with Indiana, but Harbaugh's been very good against teams in the Big Ten that aren't, like Wisconsin, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State even. He's beaten just about everyone else, so I'll take Michigan as well.
Yeah.
All right, Pac-12 is back. I don't know why this game is at noon because that's 9 a.m. for them. But Arizona at USC. USC is a 10.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I'll go USC there. Even though, who the hell knows with Pac-12 right now? I haven't seen any games.
Right.
I
think USC, if they had played a normal schedule, USC was going to be my pick to win the Pac-12. They had a lot coming back, talented quarterback. I'm not sold on Clay Helton as a coach, but in the Pac-12, you don't really need to have a great coach. Because there's 2 teams in that conference I think that can win the conference, legitimately win the conference, Oregon and USC. I'm not a big believer in Oregon this year after they lost Justin Herbert. So my pick was USC. I'm going to go USC as well. Kevin Sumlin, I think, is on his way out in Arizona. Another underrated game, I think. Liberty, who is ranked at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, though, is a 14.5-point favorite.
I think Liberty will cover, but I think BT will win that game. It's a big spread.
Yeah, that is a very big spread. So Liberty, coached by Hugh Freeze. I think they're an underrated opponent. I can't bring myself to pull the trigger on an upset. No, I'll go Virginia Tech as well. The games in Blacksburg are always tough.
Yes.
Nebraska at Northwestern. So this is. I've had to cancel 2 games, or I had to take 2 games off because Wisconsin-Purdue was canceled, or was it canceled? I think it was canceled. And then, what was the other one today? Washington and Cal was canceled. So I had to put this game in, which I'm not crazy about, but I'll probably watch it anyway. Nebraska at Northwestern. Northwestern, a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm going to go with Scott Frost and the Cornhuskers there.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't dislike that.
Northwestern is very well coached, but
Yeah.
I just definitely they don't have I think Nebraska probably does have slightly more talent, and Scott Frost is no pushover either. I actually think that they're going to be back in Big Ten contention here very, very soon, to be honest with you.
I do too. I think Scott Frost is getting a bad rap. That was a much tougher job he was walking into than people realize.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm in our season record. You took the lead. I forgot to mention that. So you're up by 1 on the season. We need some differences here. I'm going to go Northwestern. I like Pat Fitzgerald a lot.
Okay.
Houston at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, a 13.5-point favorite.
I'll go Cincy.
Yeah, Cincy's too good. I picked our Dana Holgerson last week. He let me down big time against UCF. Cincinnati's too good. Luke Fickell's got that program rolling right now. I think they're well on their way to a New Year's Six Bowl. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Oklahoma State is a 12.5-point favorite.
I'll go OSU there.
Yeah, I think they're going to be pissed off after losing at home to Texas with a chance to expand their lead in the Big 12 standings.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So this would have been the game of the week, but Trevor Lawrence decided to, or not decided, but happened to catch COVID-19. So not the game of the week for me anymore. But Clemson at Notre Dame. Clemson a 5-point favorite.
I think Notre Dame could beat them.
Yeah, Clemson didn't look good last week.
Very reluctantly.
So you're going Notre Dame?
No, I'll go Clemson. But very reluctantly, I think Notre Dame could punch them in the mouth a bit. So we'll see.
My brain is saying Clemson. Or I'm sorry, my brain is saying Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence. But something is telling me that after that close game last week, this feels like a game where Dabo is just going to be like, y'all suck without Trevor Lawrence. Let's go out there and like hang up 50 on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Clemson, but like you, reluctantly, I wouldn't be shocked if Notre Dame pulled off the upset. And I honestly think the refs will help Notre Dame because college football wants Notre Dame in the playoff. If they lose to Clemson, or I'm sorry, if they beat Clemson, and then play again in the ACC championship, that'll offset those losses for both teams, and they'll just put both teams in the playoff. Want my words.
Exactly.
Another underrated. What's that?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Another underrated game, in my opinion. Stanford at not Notre Dame, sorry. I got Notre Dame on the brain. Stanford at Oregon. Oregon a 9-point favorite.
Oregon.
You're going Ducks. I want to take Stanford so bad because I'm not a big fan of Mario Cristobal at Oregon, but I don't really know what to make of Stanford. I think David Shaw's kind of lost his touch at Stanford. So reluctantly, I'll take Oregon. Game of the week, in my opinion, Florida at Georgia. Georgia a 3.5-point favorite.
Georgia. I would have picked the home team here no matter who it was.
I don't think it's the home team. I think that they do a neutral site game for this.
Oh, no
unless, let me double check. Unless COVID knocked that out.
Then if it's neutral, I'll take the favorite too, though.
Well, yeah, Georgia's still the favorite. Let me double check real quick. Unless COVID changed, they usually play this game in Jacksonville. It is. It is in Jacksonville still. All right. So you're still gonna roll with the Bulldogs. I'm gonna go Gators. I haven't liked the way Georgia's been playing lately. I'm gonna go with the minor upset. And Florida was my pick to win the SEC East anyway, so I gotta roll with it. All right, NFL time. So you had a not very good, but pretty good week last week. You finished 9-5. I, however, was abysmal. I was 6-8. You have taken a commanding lead in our season records by 4 games. So I got to do some catching up. Let's start with tonight's game. Again, honor system here. We're recording this before the game. Thursday night, Packers at 49ers. Packers have gone from a 3-point favorite roughly to 7-point favorite with some key starters for San Francisco being out.
I genuinely thought it could have been a pretty good game, pre-Jimmy Garoppolo being on the COVID list and shit. But yeah, I'll definitely go Packers here. I don't know if they cover, but I'll go Packers.
Yeah, that's one thing with me. I have a hard time picking. I was all set to take San Francisco in this game. But, like, after Sunday's performance for Green Bay, I was like, San Francisco's going to clobber us. Then Monday comes out, Garoppolo's out, George Kittle's out. Then Bourne gets COVID, and all of a sudden they're down. I think every single offensive starter that was in the NFC Championship from last year, or maybe just in general. I've read that somewhere. So I feel like I have to go Packers. They're the slightly healthier team. But I will say this: Kyle Shanahan in 3 meetings against Mike Pettin defense in Green Bay has dominated Pettin's defense. So I think San Francisco keeps it very close, but Green Bay squeaks one out because of Aaron Rodgers pulling something out of his hat. Broncos at Falcons. Falcons are a 4-point favorite.
4-point favorite? I'm going Broncos here.
What?
I'm going underdog here. Drew Lock's playing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if Drew Lock's not out, I'm going Denver here. Dude, some of their Takk McKinley and them are pitching at each other now. Like, they're checked out. Falcons are checked out. They want to get.
I don't know if they're checked out. They're coming off a win against Carolina.
But they're out of the playoff picture already. They're sick of Matty Ice. Their skill position players are getting old as shit. I mean, I think they want to hit the reset button. So I just don't see the fight in them. I think, I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go upset the city there.
Whew, that would be something. I'm going Falcons. I don't trust Drew Lock on the road against Matt Ryan. He might pull something. He might pull off an upset, but I'll go Falcons here. It might be you've talked me into it being pretty close, but Falcons. They got more time to prepare. I'll go Falcons. Seahawks at Bills. Seahawks a 3-point favorite.
Whew. Honestly, any other West team, I'd dead ass take the Bills, but that West Coast to East Coast stat doesn't mean anything to Russell Wilson, so I'll take the Seahawks.
Yeah, if this were about a month ago, I'd take Buffalo, but they haven't played very well the last 3 weeks. So
no, I would take. If you told me like week 4 who I thought would win this game, I would have said the home team.
Yes.
Buffalo sort of fell a little bit. Yep.
Yes, I Buffalo's just not playing well, especially defensively. I think Russell Wilson's just going to sling it all over the place.
Yeah, he is.
Bears at Titans. Titans are a 6-point favorite.
This will be better than a 6-point game. That shouldn't be a 6-point spread, but I'll go Titans.
I was a little surprised by that too. I debated taking the Bears until I saw that spread.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, until I heard that line, I was honestly leaning towards the Bears, but I mean, Vegas is way more accurate than myself, so that kind of made me think a little bit.
I'll say Bears keep it close. I'm gonna go Titans. They play very well offensively at home. Derrick Henry, I wrote it on my blog. Derrick Henry averaged like 5 yards per carry and over 100 yards. They average like 35 points per game at home so far this year. I'll go Titans. So very underrated game, I think. Probably the most underrated game of the week, in my opinion. I'll say that. Ravens at Colts. Ravens are a 2-point favorite.
Ravens have just been, I don't know, man. I'll still go Ravens because I don't know, man. That defense might. It's in Baltimore.
No, Indianapolis.
I'll go Baltimore, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I went Baltimore as well.
I wouldn't bet on that game.
Yeah, that's a very tough line. Number one, and just Frank Reich's a good coach. Dude, I wouldn't want to play this team. Like,
I can easily see Lamar just having a bad game in the Colts.
Yes, Baltimore has not been. They've been okay, but they haven't been great.
They've underwhelmed.
Yes, that's a better word for it.
I mean, I definitely don't think they've been bad. I mean, they're definitely inarguably.
They've still found ways to win by several possessions in a lot of games.
Exactly, but it's just I don't see them as a Super Bowl contender at all. I just don't. I don't think they're that caliber of team right now. Now, the funny thing is I think that there's regular season teams that aren't as good as them that will actually be better than them in a Super Bowl run. You know what I mean? The Titans are one of them. Like, I don't think the Titans are better than the Ravens, but I think they have a better chance to go deep in the playoffs.
Maybe. I went with the Ravens as well. I already said that, but I went with the Ravens as well. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. But I can't pick Phillip Rivers to beat this Baltimore defense that has a very good secondary. Indianapolis doesn't run the ball that well in general, and they'll probably rely on Rivers a bunch. I just don't see him making enough plays.
Damn, man, I don't know. The Ravens just lost Ronnie Stanley and shit. I mean,
That's true. I forgot about that. That's true. But I'll still go Ravens. I don't feel good about
that. That's going to be a close game.
Panthers at Chiefs. Chiefs are an 11-point favorite. I'll tell you what. I think the Panthers might keep this close.
Stop it. Nope.
I'm not saying they'll win. They won't win, but I think they can keep it within that spread.
I've already said this, and to be honest with you, it's probably been said by a million other people, so I don't think I'm like some kind of like, whatever because I'm saying this, but like the Chiefs are the Warriors of like 2016. Like, if they're dialed in, you're not beating them.
Sure.
You might catch them on a week where they overlook an opponent and they're not giving 100%. You might squeak one out, but like if somebody like put a gun to Patrick Mahomes' head, I think they could go undefeated. I really do. I think that's where they're at as far as there's no great teams in the league besides them. So that's just where I'm at right now. I don't think they'll keep it close. I really don't. Their defense has been playing better.
That's true.
We'll see.
Yeah, I still said, I think I wrote on my blog that I had the Chiefs by 10, so still pretty convincingly, but I said within that 11-point spread. Lions at Vikings. Vikings are a 4-point game. If I were a betting man, I'd go ahead and hammer the Vikings since the Lions are without Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vikings. Easy.
Vikings have been playing much better.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
You know, they've won 2 of their last 4, and honestly, we're almost had 3 of their last 4 if they beat Seattle in Seattle. Yeah. So they're playing better. Detroit's without Stafford. This seems like a Vikings almost not upset, blowout.
Yeah, agreed.
Giants at Washington. Washington is a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm actually going to go Giants here.
Really?
I do think the Redskins are technically...
Hey, it's the Washington football team.
Sorry. Yeah, the football team. But I don't know. Something's just telling me... I mean, listen, the Redskins inarguably have a very, very good D-line, but it's like, do they have literally anything else good? I mean, right. I guess you could say the same about the Giants, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm feeling Giants there by like 1 or 2 points.
So Giants got the better of them a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. In New York by a point. Washington's coming off a bye week. Ron Rivera is one of those coaches, like, I really wouldn't want to play off a bye.
Yeah.
So I took Washington. I still wasn't super confident in it. But, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
All right, Texans at Jaguars. Texans are a 6.5-point favorite.
I'll go Texans, but that's going to be a very, very bad game.
It's gonna be a bad game, yeah. But I don't think the Jags are gonna be able to outduel
I don't either.
Deshaun Watson.
I don't either.
So I'll go Texans as well. Raiders at Chargers. The line on this game, unless I'm missing something, I don't get why it's even. It was even.
I'd probably say it's a pick 'em too.
I went with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are the better team.
I'm going to go Raiders just because, dude, listen, as great as Justin Herbert's been, I mean, dude, he's not going to put up fucking 300 yards, 4 touchdowns every week. I think any week could be a week that he just has.
I mean, this is a game that is likely a one-possession game, and the Chargers have not won those except twice this year, I think.
Exactly.
No, they only won 1, and it was against rookie Joe Burrow in his first NFL start.
Yep.
Steelers at Cowboys. Steelers by about 100. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas is held scoreless.
No, I agree. I think that, maybe a fumble recovery gives them a short field, they get a touchdown or something, but there's no way they score over 10 points. No shot. I
wrote it on I was like, they might score some, they might be held scoreless. I'll give them 10. I said like 27 to 10.
Yeah.
Underrated game. Dolphins at Cardinals. Cardinals a 4.5-point favorite.
I would have picked the underdog or the home team here, so I'm going to go Cardinals. If it was in Miami, I would have picked them.
Cardinals are coming off a bye, so that does worry me a little bit. Yeah. But I took the upset. I'm going with the Dolphins.
Ooh.
This team is playing very well right now. That defense is playing lights out the last few weeks, allowing like 15 points a game. Brian Flores is the better coach. I'm going with Miami. I'm not crazy about it, but I like where Miami's at.
I like that.
Monday Night Football, Patriots at Jets. I'll be honest, if there's any time for the Jets to get their first win, I think it's this game. New England is not playing well.
This shit's going to be crazy, dude. That's going to be the worst game ever. I'll go Pats just because I just simply cannot pick the Jets, but that is going to be an absolutely fucking horrendous football game.
Yeah. So there's a part of me, this was a 7-point game. There's a part of me that legitimately thinks, and I feel better about this than my Panthers will cover pick. I think the Jets could cover. Because, like I've said, the Patriots have been terrible. Second, the Patriots have dominated the Jets for 20 years. They have taken it on the chin from the Patriots for 20 years. There's something in me that says they're just going to be like, you know what? It's like, that bully that, is down. You're like, I'm going to get back at them.
Yep, exactly.
So but I can't bring myself to pick the Jets. I'm like you. I got to take the Patriots here. Game of the week: Saints at Bucks. Bucks are a 4.5-point favorite.
Bucks are beating them this time, straight up.
Yeah.
Better team right now.
I believe I said it here on the podcast or on my blog, but I've definitely said it. That the first time these two teams played, I really thought to myself, yeah, the Saints won and it was my 2 scores, but I wasn't all that impressed. The Bucks just weren't great offensively. They were still figuring things out, and I said, second time these teams meet, it's going to be a different story.
No,
I think it's going to be a much different result. And
you did say that. I remember you did say it on here. I remember you saying that.
And I'm not shying away from that. I'm not going to change that. I think the Bucks probably win and cover, maybe win by a couple possessions. I don't like where the Saints are at right now.
Dude, the Saints are...
I think they're incredibly overrated.
They're a mediocre football team.
Yeah.
Straight up.
All right, so we got some differences. It was a pretty lackluster week, but
I was going to say it's fairly standard.
Yeah, we got a few. All right, so yeah, football in a couple hours. I'll let you go, man.
Good luck to the Packers.
Yeah, we're gonna need it. I'm not confident.
Yeah, you should be.
I probably should be. You're right.
Later, man.
Later.